Hot Rod Ronnie. I'm here at Malvern Hill. Show you that farmhouse we were talking about earlier. That's where all the northern soldiers were all gathered around that, all up here on this top of this ridge. And all the slave cabins were right there on the right. There's this marker here that shows, I hope we can see it good enough. It shows the battle. There you can see the farmhouse. Illustration gives all the little slave cabins, and you can see how big this battle actually was. Up here on top, but we're right here, and all these soldiers up here, northerners. Just unbelievable how many it was. Of course, the rebels all tried to come out of all the woods down there, and that's hard to see with the sun behind me. But anyway, starting way over there, you can see the line of cannons. I read somewhere they had 250 cannon sitting up here. Right over there is that. You see the two chimneys over there from that Methodist parsonage, they call it. That's where Lee and Hill selling all their troops. It's a slight ridge right there that they had to come up. And it's just lines. And so, of course, you got the woods down there. They were all down in there too. I'm going to walk down here. I'll let you see this. I'm going to go up there and get a close-up on one of those cannons after a while. But it was a big disadvantage coming up that ridge. I imagine they were running right for those cannons and all these guys up here. I'm going to let you see this, hear this talk box here.
July 1st, 1862. You are standing at the center of the Union lines. Federal engineers selected this natural geographic fortress to protect McClellan's withdrawal toward the James River. From here, open fields stretched out before you for nearly a mile. Steep slopes and creeks guarded either end of the line. Nearly 40 cannon crowned the plateau. Despite the obvious advantages to the Union defenders, Robert E. Lee saw this ground as his last and best chance to strike the Union Army before it reached the river. But circumstances worked to ensure disaster for the Southern Army. Confederate reconnaissance was poor, and the Federal defense proved impregnable. Late in the afternoon, charge after charge of Confederate infantry emerged from the tree line in front of them and marched straight toward the Union artillery. No Southerner reached the Federal line. Darkness finally put an end to the hopeless Confederate assaults. Confederate General D.H. Hill said, "It was not war, it was murder." The 7 days' battles ended here. The next day, the Union Army arrived safely at Harrison's Landing on the James River. McClellan's inability to capture the Confederate capital, combined with Lee's failure to destroy the Union Army, ensured a long, bitter war. 2 years later, at the Battle of Cold Harbor, these same armies clashed again at the gates of Richmond.
That was really interesting. What they didn't tell you though was, well, for one thing, when you say casualties, that doesn't mean that many killed. It means injured, killed, or missing. And I imagine missing means if you were hit by one of those huge cannon shells, you just were obliterated. I'm walking down. I want to get down here on the battlefield. I can't imagine charging up this hill. Thousands of soldiers charging these cannons and these rifles up here. And looking down the throat of one of these things. Got different sizes up here. The fields are about like they were back then. Imagine that thing pointed at you. Just rows of them. I gotta walk out here in this field. Corn stalks. I'm standing right where it all happened. I can imagine just shaking. Right here, buddy. Just standing in this field. But what I was going to tell you was, they say a Southerner never reached the top of that ridge to engage the Northern soldiers, but yet they managed to kill, or casualties, between 2,000 and 3,000 Yankee soldiers. But they said the rebels were so determined that they just kept coming, and they got within range that they could shoot with their pistols, revolvers. And that's how they said that when that happened, the cannon would fall silent because they'd shot the guy manning the cannon, and they had to get a guy, his backup, to get up there and do what he was doing. It's bad enough being shot by a rifle, but can you imagine all that firepower? Just, and they said Longstreet advised against this battle. It was a bloodbath. I think there was a little ego involved there with General Lee. But I tell you, just standing out here in this field just makes you feel really weird. That's it on this one. Thanks.